Welcome back to the Morning Brew. Grab a cup and join us. I feel like getting a little motivated here on Monday morning, and we've got the guy here. He's the man to do it. I want you to meet Darshan Shanti as a published author. And part of what we do here on the Morning Brew is find exciting, interesting people that live in our community. And here's this guy that is a great author. He speaks around the country, he trains, and you live right here. Darshan, it's good to see you.
It's good to be seen by you, and it's good to be here. Thank you so much for having me on Motivation Monday on the Morning Brew. This is a wonderful show.
I was telling Aaron that you and I met at a funeral, of
Yes.
all things.
Interesting way to meet.
Funerals really become kind of quirky social occasions because after the services, usually you run into all kinds of interesting people, and that's where Darshan and I met. And I said, "You're an interesting people." And turns out you are. The 24-hour champion. Tell us the genesis of that and what's the basis behind it.
The 24-hour champion's about being the best you can be 24 hours a day. It's about not settling. It's about not giving up. It's about really being who you are. And on the second part of that, it's about being that champion in as little as 24 hours. You can change your life, as we've talked about in the past, in 2.4 hours, in 24 hours, in 2.4 minutes, in 2.4 seconds. And so if you can be a champion 24 hours a day, you can be a champion 24 hours a day. Everybody can be a champion 24 hours a day. They can be the best.
What do you think is that biggest roadblock that stops people from doing more or pursuing something they really love?
Wonderful question. To me, it always goes back to your belief systems. What you believe dictates the actions you take and dictates the results you have. So if you don't believe in yourself, or if you don't believe in your goals or your dreams, what's going to happen? You're not going to go for them. You're going to get stopped. I'll give you a good example. If I asked either one of you right now, just sitting there, to touch the ceiling, and you can't use a ladder, you can't use anything else, are you ever going to go for it?
No, not really,
No.
because I know it's way up there.
It's way up there, right? So if your goal is too far up and you don't believe you can achieve it, or you don't believe in yourself, are you ever going to go for it? No, and that's the point. No one ever goes for things they don't believe they can achieve.
Let's talk about that whole concept of believing. I think people tend to trivialize that too much. You've got to really internalize that and go deep down inside yourself to find what your beliefs are and what you believe you can do. Do you feel the same way?
Absolutely. It has to be internalized. It has to be so real. It's not just a surface thing. In other words, people say affirmations all the time. I'm going to be rich. I'm going to be healthy. I'm going to find the partner of my dreams. But unconsciously, which is the second part about beliefs, they don't believe it. So if you say I'm going to be rich, but your unconscious belief is I'm not worthy, you get the I'm not worthy, because whatever you put out stronger, whether you're conscious of it or not, is what you get. It's what comes back to you. So you have to have it internalized. It has to be deep. You're absolutely right.
And you're talking a lot about beliefs. What are the top beliefs someone should have internalized in order to be successful and have a happy life?
I'll even take it one step further than beliefs.
Okay.
You were talking about the Masters.
Yes.
We were talking about what Adam Scott did. The number one thing you can do is be focused, absolutely incredibly focused, laser focused. The most successful sports champions in the world they have a single-minded focus. And so he had the rain, the pressure of no one in his country, right, ever doing it.
You got the crowd, you got the TV audience, you have everybody, your opponent.
Everything going, and he had to tune everything out and be focused on that ball and focused right in the moment, being in the moment. That's critical. The other thing is attitude. The better your attitude, the higher you go. So if you have a good attitude, you're going to attract good things. You ever walk in a room and people have a bad attitude and you're like, oh my God, and you want to get away from them? But when people have a good attitude, you're attracted to them.
Right.
And last thing I think is responsibility. If you're 100% responsible, no matter what, for everything you do, think, feel, experience, etc., and don't blame anybody else, don't pass the buck, you will be you will have the results you want, and you will be a champion.
When you consult with people and speak to audiences around the country, you talk about beliefs and you specify 3 separate beliefs that people need to have rooted deep down inside of them to succeed. Can you talk about those?
Those beliefs, if I just am expanding, thank you for giving me an opportunity to do that. When I was talking about focus, I was thinking about this. If you have a magnifying glass, right, and you focus the power of the sun, what happens?
It burns.
It burns whatever it's focused on, right? And so if your focus is spread so thin, what happens? Nothing. Maybe the paper will get a little bit warm.
Yeah.
That's one of the absolute key things. One of the other things we didn't mention is commitment. Think about commitment, the power of commitment. See, people say they're committed, but they're really not. As my friend and mentor, Zig Ziglar, just passed away last year, he used to say, some people are about as committed as a kamikaze on his 49th mission.
So you're saying if you have too many things going on, you need to just center it, find one thing and focus.
Absolutely, and focus on, and then commit to it. Commitment's 100%. It's not anything less. And people fool themselves. I said, well, how committed are you on a scale of 1 to 10? They'll say 9. I'll say, all right, so Larry, I'm going to reach out to shake your hand. I want you to be 90% committed to shaking my hand.
We're about there.
Right, we're about 90%. Well, 90% could also look like this, because you see, the handshake's never going to happen. So if you're 90% committed, if you're 99% committed, if you're 99.9% committed to something, it's never going to happen. It really means you're 100% committed not to having it happen.
Great way to look at it.
Yeah, and then action. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, let's talk about action. I think this is where I need help. I need to take all these great ideas that I have and get them into action. How do you jump that gap, converting idea and executing?
Most people don't take action because they're afraid. Fear is the #1 dream killer that there is. They're afraid of success. They're afraid of failure. They're afraid of change. They're afraid of rejection. And they let fear dictate their lives. And if fear stops them, because guess what? What are they focused on? The wrong thing. They're focused on what they don't want and where they're going, not on what they do. Excuse me, let me say that now. They're focused on what they don't want and where they've been, not on what they do want and where they're going. And when you focus on what you don't want, fear is always going to win. So you have to look at the outside. Look at what you're going to get. Look at how good you're going to feel when you've accomplished your goal, not how bad it's going to be if you fail. That's the difference. And then take one small action, just one, that will move you, and you go, okay, I made it, I did this. And if I can do one, then you can do another and another and another. It doesn't have to be all or nothing. Take the step and move on.
Now, I have a question. I'll take a step back here. What really got you to be so motivational and inspiring and write this book? Did you have something in your life that one day you just said, you know, I'm going to do this. I want to be this person?
Well, growing up, my life was not very good. I was the misfit in school who didn't fit in with the misfits. In every grade, I had problems.
Oh, you mean the misfits didn't even want you?
They didn't, yeah. They'd let me, no kidding, they let me sit at their table, but I had to sit away from them.
Oh,
man.
Problems in every grade. In 4th grade, I was an outstanding student. People said, well, that's pretty good. I'm like, no, I was outstanding in the whole entire time. Problem after problem after problem. And in fact, I joined the military, and I was a medic trained to save people's lives. My own unit voted me most likely to be killed by them.
Oh, my God.
Because they figured they'd be safer off with me dead than alive. That's what my life was like. And so I finally started looking at me, because I wasn't taking responsibility. I was blaming everybody else. It was your fault. I was good. I couldn't do this. It wasn't me. When I started looking at me, that's when my whole entire life changed. And I began to pull everything apart, going to every seminar I could, reading every book, listening to every CD I could, taking me apart. And the more I took me apart, the more I realized I'm like everybody else, and I can help people now. And for years and years and years of work and study, I looked back at my life and I said, all right, I'm going out to the world and I'm going to help people. And that's what made me do it. I don't want people going through the life that I had.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at the cover of Darshan's book. It's the 24-Hour Champion, Discovering and Living Your Priceless Life. Fantastic. And where's the book? Where can we
The
find
book is available on Amazon, but the best place you can get it is on my website. Do you know why?
it? Why?
Right.
Because that's where you get a signed copy with a personal note that you can't get if you order it from Amazon. Plus, anybody who gets it from the show, I'll throw in a CD of a recording that I did in the studio called A Better Life. So it's a bonus.
That's
Get the book
awesome.
and the CD.
Darshan, you're just a great example of the talent that lives in this town, and I love the fact that you and I are friends, and it's great to know you, and I'm glad you could be on the show.
I'm glad to be here. Thank you so much for having me, Larry. I appreciate it.
Very
Absolutely.
inspiring stuff.
Isn't he great?
Awesome.
Darshan Shanti, everybody, our guest here on The Morning Brew. All right, we're up next with Jesse Campbell and the Octopus and the Fox. That's next here on The Morning Brew.